Hi, good day. I am Jessica Luis Toraba, a first-year nursing student from Lerma Colleges and from the section of John Bowlby. So today, we're going to dissect and discuss the different structures of the heart using the pig's heart. And I'm using my phone to record the procedure. So let's start. So this is the pig's heart and this is our improvised dissecting pan. And we all know that the heart is a muscular organ which pumps blood around the body, and it is located in the middle mediastinum, covered by a strong, fibrous, double-layered sac known as the pericardium. And I believe that the pericardium here is this outer covering of the heart. You can see here, this one. This is the pericardium. It's kind of transparent. When I bought the heart, there's already a slice here and here, and this one. After examining the pericardium, we also locate the myocardium. So in this slice, we can see that this is a thick muscle located on the ventricle. So this thick muscle is the myocardium below the pericardium. So most of the myocardium is located in the lower two chambers of the heart called ventricles. And we're going to locate also the tip of the heart or the apex. So only the left ventricle extends all the way to the apex here. And this is our apex, this one. So I'm gonna place the heart in the dissecting pan so that the front or ventral side is towards me, and the major blood vessels are on the top and the apex is down. The front of the heart is recognized by a groove that extends from the right side of the broad end of the heart diagonally to the point above and to your left of the apex. The blood flows into and out of the heart contain 4 chambers. This left side of the heart, this is the left side of the heart, and this is the right side of the heart. And this flap here is the left atrium, and this thick muscle here is the left ventricle, and this one is the right atrium, the upper part, and this one is the right ventricle. The left and atrium and left ventricles pump oxygenated blood to the rest of the body, and the right atrium and right ventricle pump deoxygenated blood to the lungs. And now we're going to locate the blood vessels of the heart. And the first one is the coronary artery. The coronary artery is the blood vessel lies in the groove on the front of the heart. So this is the coronary artery, meaning this is the one that supplies fresh blood with oxygen and nutrients to the heart muscle itself. The second one is the pulmonary artery. The pulmonary artery is the blood vessel branches and carries blood to the lungs to receive oxygen, and it can be found curving out of the right ventricle or the upper chamber to your left. The pulmonary artery is this one. This hole is the pulmonary artery that's located in the right ventricle. This one. And this big hole here is the aorta. The aorta is the major vessel located near the right atria and just behind the pulmonary arteries. And also, we're going to locate the pulmonary vein. The pulmonary vein is the vessels that return oxygenated blood from the right and left lungs to the left atrium. So this is the left atrium. So the pulmonary vein is here, this one. This is the pulmonary vein. And let's go to the inferior and superior vena cava, which is the 2 blood vessels that located on the left of the heart and connect to the right atrium. So this is the right atrium, and this is the inferior vena cava, this one, and this little hole here is the superior vena cava. I'm going to insert my finger on the inferior vena cava, it goes to the right atrium. See? After examining the external structure of the heart, let us now proceed to the internal anatomy of the pig's heart. So I'm gonna use a scissor to cut through the side of the pulmonary artery. And I'm gonna use this improvised cutter to cut through. With my fingers, I'm gonna push open the heart at the cut to examine the internal structure. With my finger, I'm gonna insert here in this hole to the right atrium. So this one is the right atrium. Notice that the thinner muscular wall of this receiving chamber. And this is the inferior and superior vena cava. If I'm gonna enter my finger in the inferior vena cava, which is this one, then enter, and you can notice the lack of valves. The valve that between the right atrium and the right ventricle is called the tricuspid valve. This valve allows blood flow from the right atrium into the right ventricle during diastole, or a period when the heart is relaxed. When the heart begins to contract or the systole phase, ventricular pressure increases until it is greater than the pressure in the atrium, causing the tricuspid to snap close. I'm gonna use my fingers to feel the thickness of the right ventricle and its smooth lining. Also note the network of irregular muscular cords on the inner wall of this chamber. So I'm gonna find the septum on the right side of the ventricle. So this is the septum. So I'm gonna use the scissor again to cut through the septum. You can notice, this thick muscular wall separates the right and left pumping ventricles from each other. So this part is the right ventricles. This part. You can notice here that there's a separation here. Inside the right ventricle, I'm gonna locate the pulmonary artery that carries blood away from this chamber, and this the one-way valve called the pulmonary valve that controls blood flow away from the right ventricle at the entrance to this blood vessel. Using my scissor, I'm gonna continue to cut open the heart. I'm gonna start the cut on the outside of the left atrium. Downward into the left ventricle. Cutting toward the apex to the septum at the center groove. I'm gonna push open the heart like this. So there's no any dried blood. So the left atrium is this. I'm gonna find the openings of the pulmonary veins from the lungs, and I'm gonna observe the one-way semilunar valves at the entrance of this veins. Inside this chamber, I'm gonna look for the valve that controls blood flow between the upper left atrium and lower left ventricle. So I'm gonna use a pin to locate the valve that controls the blood flow. So this valve is called the bicuspid or mitral valve. This valve consists of two leaflets, and blood flows from the left atrium into the left ventricle during diastole. I'm gonna examine the left ventricle. Notice the thickness of the ventricular wall. This heart chamber is responsible for pumping blood throughout the body. So I'm gonna use a scissor to cut across the left ventricle towards the aorta. I'm gonna count the 3 flaps or leaflets on this valve leading from the left ventricle into the aorta, and note their half-moon shape, and this is called the aortic valve. Using the scissors, I'm gonna cut through the aorta and examine the inside. So this is the inside of the aorta, and I'm gonna find the hole or coronary sinus in the wall of this major artery, and this leads into the coronary artery, which carries blood to and nourishes the heart muscle itself. This is the hole